Religious intolerance in Israel and the Palestinian autonomy has found a common target: Christianity. Extremist Muslims and Jews are turning increasingly violent towards Christians and their holy sites. Artist Paulus Lear meets those being persecuted for their faith in the Holy Land.
David Ortiz lives dangerously. A Christian pastor among religious Jews in the West Bank city of Ariel, he's received death threats for trying to convert Jews and Muslims to his faith.
My first time going into a Muslim village, I got beat up. We were giving out Bibles.
Someone hated Ortiz enough to drop off a package at his house. Thinking it had candy inside, his 15-year-old son opened it. The pipe bomb nearly killed him.
And it blew him into the kitchen. And it made a hole in his chest. Most of the thrusts went this way. But the backfire destroyed the refrigerator and everything in back.
It took 3 years for Israeli police to catch the perpetrator. A religious Jew, Jack Taital, who lived in a nearby Israeli settlement. He'd already killed 2 Arabs.
And he says he's very proud. And he says he did God a favor by trying to kill us.
Across the West Bank, the story for Palestinian Christians is as bleak, and the threat comes from both extremist Jews and Muslims. Bethlehem, the believed birthplace of Christ, once boasted a population of 85% Christian. Today, less than 10% live here. This woman's afraid to show her face. She used to go to Manja Square and teach about Jesus, but all that ended after her house was nearly burnt down.
I didn't feel like I belong to this place anymore. I feel like I'm a stranger.
Given the opportunity, she says, she wouldn't think twice about leaving.
The explosion of Muslims is you know, you feel they're controlling everywhere, everything. My granddaughter have to memorize the Quran.
But Tas Abu Sada ignores the threats. He's one of a growing number of Muslims who's converted to Christianity in recent years.
When I was a fighter with Arafat, I hated Christians just as much as I hated Jews. I was going around Jordan looking for their homes and throw hand grenades into their homes or shooting up their cars because I believed Christians are spies to Israel.
But Christianity can sit alongside Islam and Judaism here. These 2 Palestinian brothers have no problem reconciling their Christian faith with living in a Jewish state. They've volunteered to join the country's army, saying they feel as Israeli as their Jewish and Arab counterparts.
I'll give everything I have for this army, because in the end, this is my country.
But it's not without its problems.
Each time I go home in uniform, someone will call at me traitor and things like that. It doesn't influence me.
But in recent months, attacks against Christians and Christian sites have increased. At the beginning of November, this 100-year-old church was burnt by right-wing Israelis who broke some of the windows and threw Molotov cocktails inside. It's no wonder that Christians here are feeling under fire. Paulus Lear, RT, Jerusalem.